Hi, my name is Will. I am the founder over at salesman.com, and today I have a book on my desk and a box on my desk. What could that possibly mean? Well, obviously we've just launched the SalesCode book. You can get it for free over at salesman.com. No shenanigans, completely free, so you can download it as a PDF. You can do what you'd like with it, or you can view it online there. But yeah, I've now got the printed versions and I'm excited. I'm going to open them on camera like I did with the Selling Made Simple book, and I'll give you my reaction because it might be terrible. I know there were some issues with colors, specific colors within the book, so you'll see if they've turned out or if they haven't turned out. And yeah, this is a pretty quick and rapid second book unboxing video. We published Selling Made Simple February this year. It's now May, June, beginning of June, and already we're on to the second book. Now, these are not kind of crappy kind of books that should be ebooks. These are fully fledged physical books, really beautifully put together. And yes, there's been a lot of effort. There's been a lot of work from the salesman.com team to make this happen. So I appreciate you guys for kind of pulling together and hustling and essentially grinding out the past 6-8 months to kind of put all this content together. But just for context, Selling Made Simple is the first book in the series. This gives you the 15 step-by-step frameworks. And when I say framework, I very literally mean do this, do this, do this, do this, have success at that specific thing. The 15 specific step-by-step frameworks to find and close more deals in the next 30 days. That is what the book does. That is what it is for. And yeah, we've had tens of thousands of people download it from the website at this point, and it's been a great success. So that's the first book, which leads us on to the second book, which again, which is the SalesCode. Okay, so the covers and stuff look fine. That's good. Get rid of this box. And we'll open it up. Now, the premise of the second book, the SalesCode, is that there are lots of what I call sales nerds out there, and specifically you'll see them on LinkedIn. These are people that know the process, know how to write email copy, know how to create LinkedIn posts that get attention, but they don't make any money because they don't implement it. And this isn't just a discipline thing, right? There's lots of other things going on behind the scenes, and that's what SalesCode covers. SalesCode is becoming the person who is capable of hitting your sales goals. I'll say that again. SalesCode's all about becoming the person who is capable of hitting your sales goals. So the example I always use is, if you are unassertive, you could know the entirety of the sales process. You could have mastered Selling Made Simple, the original book, and all the content in there. But if you're not assertive, you're not going to ask the difficult sales questions that need to be asked, and you're not going to ask for the business at the end of the process, so you're not going to win any of it. So there are 18 fundamental personality traits and sales skills that you need to implement to become the person who's capable of hitting your goals, and that is exactly what the SalesCode covers. And there is no bullshit in these 18 traits. They all come from our SalesCode assessment. 14,000 sellers have been through the assessment now. And we started with I think it was 252 different traits or hypotheses of traits that high-performing salespeople had. And then we whittled them down to the most important 18. So most salespeople and business owners, entrepreneurs who crush it in their job, their business, from a sales perspective, so they understand the market, they can get in front of buyers, and they can close deals. Almost all of them have 80–90% of these 18 traits. Very few people have all of them because we've all got room to improve, right? Myself included. But that's what we cover in this book. So yeah, let's have a quick nosy. Now, what I need is like a top-down camera, so that would have been a great idea, so you could see what I'm actually looking at. That is not actually a bad idea for future content. I might even have a think about that as the day goes on, kind of thing. But yes, there is. It's looking good. I'll give you a quick overview of some of the stuff that we cover. So the printers were concerned about. I don't know if you can see on camera, but this grey here, because I don't know. It goes beyond me. The colours within the PDF, yada yada, print versus screen. Obviously, I see it on my monitor before I see it printed. It looks fine. It's not quite grey. There's a little tiny bit of red to it. But I'm pretty sure that you probably don't give a shit. If you get the book and you read it, you will not even notice. So if that's the worst case scenario there, then we're absolutely fine. Great. So let me give you a quick overview of what the book covers. And you can make a decision whether you want to go and download it. It's completely free from salesman.com or not. You don't have to. It might be useful for you in your sales or small business careers and roles if you do. So we cover a bunch of things here. It's split into 3 separate sections here. So we have your sales skills, we have your internal beliefs, and then we have your actions as well. So we cover things in your skills like how to negotiate logically. We cover objection handling, how to identify key accounts, how to storytell, things like that. In the belief section, we're covering your caveman brain. So that little voice at the back of your brain that goes, oh, can't be bothered doing any prospecting this morning. I might just watch TV instead. Or the inverse of that at night. I can't be bothered going to bed and having a productive morning tomorrow. I'll stay up and watch some more crappy TV. We cover becoming an optimist, becoming more comfortable with money, self-esteem, personal accountability. And in the action side of things, we cover habits, goal setting, assertiveness, not being a people pleaser. You'd think that being a people pleaser would be potentially a good thing in sales. It's a terrible thing. We've got tons of data on that. And yeah, so that's the kind of things that we're covering in this specific book. Now, we use what I call the 3-brain framework. So we can see here. We call it what we call the 3-brain system or framework to pull a lot of this content together. And that is basically, and you'll have heard this in different terms perhaps before, you've got an environmental input, you've got what we call your computer brain. So this is the reptilian brain, this is the automated brain, this is your subconscious, however you want to frame it up. You have the caveman brain, which is then the part of your brain that second guesses what you're doing. And then we have the human brain, which is the logical, long-term thinking brain that we all think that we spend a lot of time in. But in reality, we spend most of our time in either our subconscious, just doing stuff. So this is where habits come into it. We have our caveman brain, where we make emotional decisions rather than logical ones, which happens all the time in sales. When you're getting rejected, you feel shit. There's no reason for you to feel bad when you get rejected. The buyer's not rejecting you. They're rejecting the offer, the product, the messaging. And then we get into the human brain. So the whole premise is getting past your computer brain, getting past the caveman brain, spending more time in your logical human brain, and that then allows you to become more assertive, set better habits, become more optimistic, all that good stuff. So if you're unfamiliar with the books, each one of the books starts with a bit of a story, comic strip. I've tried to add, to the best of my ability, a bit of humor into some of this, because most sales training content is so dull and boring. And if it's dull and boring and just page after page of text, you're not going to read it, you're not going to implement it, and it's not going to stick in your brain. So we tried to go down the route of making things interesting. There's tons of charts and graphs. Every other page has a visual representation of what we are talking about. And yeah, we've got all these different frameworks, all this content. And yeah, we tried to make it as, as pretty and as beautiful and a bunch of colors, and obviously the illustrated characters are involved in all of this as well. What you see here in this gray box is what we call a hint. So these are where we take the obvious logical steps of each framework and go that slight bit deeper. So some people have suggested to me that they've flown through the content and then gone back and looked at all the hints later on once they've gone into the market, tested some of this, made sure it works, and then they've gone back and doubled down on it. And the book itself, in a good way, is pretty dense. You're not going to get through all of this content in one sitting. There is just no chance, because it covers so many processes it's in just enough depth for you to get the most benefit from it, but not too much depth that you would have been better off doing some prospecting rather than reading the book, right? So that's the balance that I'm always trying to go back and forth when we create this content. But yeah, as you can see, there's tons of stuff to go at, tons of questions, tons of things to learn. And yeah, if you want to grab your completely free copy, no bullshit, no shenanigans, completely free copy of SalesCode. And if you want to grab your free copy of Sell Made Simple as well, which is the original book. So we've got sales process in this book, and then we've got becoming the person who's capable of achieving your goals in this book. Then head over to salesman.com. It's you can see it in the navigation bar. Just get signed up to the free academy. You'll get both books. You'll get access to our free community, where there's literally, at this point, we launched it 2 weeks ago, and I think there's 1,500 people in there at the moment. There are literally, at this point, thousands of people on the platform, but hundreds of people chatting in there, going through the books, asking questions, implementing content from the books, and then asking for help or giving, there's a bunch of success stories in there now at this point. Get in there and you get all that completely free. Head over to salesman.com. So you get the academy, you get the 2 books, you get the SalesCode assessment, which you may be familiar with if you're familiar with our content. That's where all of this book essentially came from. Answer a bunch of questions, about 100 questions, and it'll tell you which of these 18 traits that you have and which of them that you don't. So then some people like to do the assessment, then just pick the chapters in the book that correspond to the things that you're missing from the assessment, level them up, and that's your quickest win right there. So, hope you enjoyed this quick video. This looks sick. I'm super happy with it. Hopefully you'll get value from the book as well. And yeah, speak to you in a future video. Cheers.